You see right here it says 44 Rem Magnum and 44 Special. Not that I can ever find 44 Special, but hey, what's up guys? I'm Leverboy, or you could just call me Luke. Today we'll be doing an unboxing of something very special I got off a layaway just the other day.
Isn't today your birthday?
Why, yes it is my birthday.
So how old are you?
We don't need to talk about that.
Must be a lot.
Okay, don't rub it in. Okay, if anyone wants to send me a birthday present, I've attached a few links below you can send it to. Or you can just join my Patreon. That'll make me the happiest.
Yeah, really anything will make him happy, because he's broke as a joke.
We don't need to tell him that part. Okay, if you remember in the last video of my 1894, I said I was going to get the Henry off of layaway, and I got it. So today we're going to take an up close look at it and everything in the box, give you some specs and details about it. Okay guys, here she is at the Henry 44 Mag Carbine.
Don't pump me up like that, then go back to normal. I was ready to take on a full-grown coyote.
Okay, we're going to set the gun right here and see what comes in the box. You couldn't take on a full-grown roach. Now, of course, I bought this gun secondhand, but I'm still happy that I got the box and everything that came with it.
I lost one time.
Here is the manual. Tells you all about the gun. Okay. Just a little tag, says Henry. Okay. Always inspect first, do not pull the trigger. Okay, I think this right here is just the inspectors at the factory checking to make sure there's no ammo in the gun when it leaves the factory. Okay, that's pretty much everything that came in the box, and we'll set it to the side and start looking at the gun.
I'll be destroying that box shortly.
All right, here she is right here. Now, like I said, this is the carbine version, so it only has a 16-inch barrel, and that's what I wanted. I wanted the short version of the Henry 44 Mag. Now, the big boy has an overall length of 35 inches with a 1 in 20 barrel twist rate. And if we bring out my Marlin 3030, which has a 20-inch barrel, you can really see what the difference is between a 16 and a 20-inch barrel. It's right there in the end, and it does make a difference. The gun feels significantly smaller when it's 4 inches shorter.
Insert sex joke here.
And the overall weight is 6.5 pounds, or 6.59 if you want to be accurate. Now that's a very handy weight to have. It's nothing to hold this rifle with one hand and stretch it all the way out like so, which I like doing.
Insert sex joke here.
Stick feeling, you know, it's really light and you can move it around really easily. Not like that, but you know what I'm talking about. Since I got this one secondhand, there is a few scuffs and stuff on it, but not enough to hurt. This was still definitely worth the price that I paid for it.
Cheap bastard.
Guy that had it before me put a nice little leather wrapping around the loop right here. The rifle is made out of American walnut, so American walnut is really sturdy and really hard, and it'll last a long time. Okay, this side looks pretty good. There's really nothing going on, but if I flip it around, I'm not really sure what that is. If you do know how to move this little white scuff, please put in the comments how, because I will be removing that. And we can see right here we got a lot of real nice checkering. Definitely helps grip the gun. So if we go down, the receiver's still in good condition. I don't see anything right there. And then right here on the fore end, we got a little scuff, and then more of that really aggressive checkering. It definitely does help. Now the length of pull right here, even though this is the carbine, is 14 inches. And I have found in the past that 13.5 works just fine for me, but if it's a little bit longer than that, that's fine too. So you can see if I have it all the way against my shoulder, and I am roughly 6'1".
You're tall, but you're not Hickok 45 tall. That nigga like 6'8".
So you can see about where it sits at if I'm looking right down the sight. Okay, and this is probably our biggest blemish on the entire gun, is right here. And I know exactly how he did this. See on the barrel, there's dented. He was trying to knock out that rear sight and missed. And like you said earlier, it is drilled and tapped to take a scope or a red dot, whatever one you want to throw on here.
The internet tells me it's blasphemous to add an optic to a lever gun. What's your stance on this?
It's your gun. Do whatever you want. No judgment. Especially since I have an optic on my lever gun. And we got our sling swivel. You know what? I may not end up putting a sling on it because of how handy it feels. I don't know. A sling is still useful if you're walking down the woods, because it just gets the rifle completely out the way in case you need to cross a creek or some kind of obstacle. The receiver's in good condition. He didn't mar up this thing at all. Now, I can tell for sure he did have a scope on there, or at least a red dot, because he had a little rail right on top of there, as you can see. It could have also been a peep sight, you know, for peeping. Now, these are semi-adjustable buckhorn sights with a diamond insert right there in the middle, with a nice, big, tall brass bead up front. Now, the problem with the Marlin that I had was that I had lowered the buckhorn sight all the way down and the gun was still shooting way high for me. So there was nothing else I can do except put on a red dot or a scope because the iron sights were all maxed out.
I don't ever hear Guts complaining about sights. Berserk is the frickin' shit.
You can see how it has a semi big loop through the lever. It's not the small one, the normal ones, and it's not the real big one. It's like right there in between. And I like that because I did find out on my 45 Colt, it had the bigger loop. It's kind of too big. It kind of catches on things if you're walking through the woods and stuff like that. So having just a little bit smaller one is better. The magazine tube, which makes this one different than the Marlin 1894 that I had. We can feed it through the loading gate, or we can feed it through the tube. It comes out nicely. This sucker is fat. This thing is thick. It's a thick girl. And I believe this one, since it's the carbine, holds 6 in the tube and 1 in the rifle. So it has a 7 capacity altogether. Okay, the main thing that makes these Henrys stand apart than the Marlins is probably the smoothness of the lever itself, okay? I can't emphasize how smooth that lever throw is. I have determined why the Henrys are smoother is because the Henrys do not have the half cock feature, okay? And the Marlins, you can pull back right here and it'll go into half cock. Then you pull back the rest of the way. But watch this. There is no half cock. It just goes all the way back. So since there's no half cock, that makes the bolt, when it's coming back through the lever, it doesn't hang up on that half cock part, okay? So normally I would have hit that half cock and that would have made like a little bump right here in the lever. But since we don't have that, it just goes back super smooth like, and then comes back forward. You can see how the bolt's interacting with the hammer right there. So that little spot right there is where you feel a little bit of resistance. But otherwise, it's smooth, very smooth. Yeah, honestly, I don't miss the half cock feature at all. I didn't even really use it that much. Okay, we got a nice rubber butt pad right here on the end. My 45 Colt that I had, the butt pad worked really good. I didn't really feel no kick from it. Of course, that was 45 Colt. I never really did have any hot rounds through it. Now, this is the round barrel version. They do make an octagon heavy barrel version, and I had the 45 Colt of that, but the whole purpose of having a carbine is to keep the gun light and small, and then adding a thick octagon barrel to a short gun kind of defeats the purpose in my eyes. So I wanted the lightest version, which is the 16-inch regular round barrel version, and that's the one this is. And we'll show you what that trigger looks like. I'm gonna say 5.5. Feels good though. I'll say there is a tiniest bit of squish before you pull it, but I don't mind it. Let's see if I can catch it. Yeah, I can feel it happening, but it's really hard for you to see it on the camera, I believe. But there is a tiniest bit of squish that happens before you hit that wall. But it feels good. Actually, I think I might prefer that on a lot of my rifles, which actually just hit a hard wall and then break. But most of them are light enough to where it doesn't affect your shooting at all. Except for that Husqvarna, it's got a heavy trigger. I'll be taking it out there because I now have some ammo that I will be testing out with the 44 mag. Okay, I was finally sent some ammo by a company, thank God, thank God. The next video you see on the 44 mag, I'll be shooting that ammo. I've been looking at the screen the whole damn time, not the camera. Damn it. And just because I know all of you have been staring at it, this is my home defense gun, my USP standard 9mm. And as you can see, I've bedazzled it with some golden sandpaper grips from Handle It grips. They feel really good. And your hand's definitely not coming out of them.
Yay. Well, I like them. Yeah, I bet you do.
And please leave me a comment below telling me how to address those few little scuffs on the rifle, because I do want to make it as pretty as possible before I go out there and, destroy it myself.
Hey, show them a clip from your Far Cry video that everyone is still sleeping on. It'll definitely pump them up.
You got it.